So yesterday on the podcast, we talked about Roman Reigns, mainly. Roman Reigns, the whole Jonathan Coachman deal, my rant on that. But at the heart of the matter, the main story on yesterday's show was the internal, issue right now in WWE. There is internal concern for the WrestleMania 34 main event with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Not so much based on fan backlash. Most of the concern has to do with Johnny Bravo, filmmaker Johnny Bravo, and this story that he is hyping up to be released in the next couple of weeks about the evidence that Richard Rodriguez has on not only Roman Reigns, but 15 other WWE superstars, past and present, some even bigger right now in the spotlight than Roman Reigns. That is what WWE is concerned with. WWE on Monday night had Roman Reigns go out to the ring by himself, cut what was a shoot-worked promo on Brock Lesnar, and we discussed this yesterday on the show. WWE portraying Roman Reigns in this superhero spotlight as if he's defending all the women and the men in the locker room against the evil, villainous Brock Lesnar, who doesn't give a shit about WWE. All he cares about is his contract and the money he's making and the certain dates that he's got and, the preferred cities that he only wants to wrestle in. Blah, 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 blah. The same rhetoric that we've seen time and time again with Roman Reigns. They're trying to portray him in this grand spotlight like he's the good guy. Meanwhile, nobody gives a shit about Roman Reigns. If they haven't really gravitated or invested their time in Roman Reigns in the last 3 years, what makes you think they're going to do it this year? What makes WWE think that things will be different this year? So Brock Lesnar doesn't show up on Monday Night Raw. He's hyped at the Elimination Chamber to be on Monday Night Raw. They didn't really give you an idea of what he was going to be doing with Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns at that point didn't win the Elimination Chamber yet. They said Brock Lesnar is going to be on Monday Night Raw. We all knew he was going to be on Monday Night Raw. Brock Lesnar was highlighted in the opening video package about him being there and confronting Roman Reigns, being that he just won the Elimination Chamber the night before. We were supposed to get this big face-to-face showdown with Reigns, Lesnar, and Paul Heyman. It didn't happen. Rumors going around that Brock Lesnar was supposed to sign a contract with WWE on Monday night, extending his deal, adding more dates, etc., and that did not happen. According to sources, Brock Lesnar walked out because the deal wasn't made, and Roman Reigns went out there and cut this worked shoot promo on how Brock Lesnar was supposed to be here, but he's not here. He left the building because he doesn't care. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. So WWE has Roman cut this promo, and it's nauseating to say the least. Everybody's like, oh my God, he cut a great promo. Nobody really watching is diving into it like us smart people are. They're just eating everything that Roman Reigns is spitting out of his mouth. They're not thinking. They're the ones that Jonathan Coachman had labeled sheep. Everybody that followed suit. Oh, Roman Reigns cut a great promo, man. You're the sheep. You're the sheep. Brock Lesnar did not walk out of WWE with the Universal Championship. Brock Lesnar is not going to relinquish the Universal Championship right before WrestleMania. Everybody thinks that Brock Lesnar photographing himself with Dana White was this inside job set up by Brock Lesnar. This was all done on purpose. Lesnar knows what he's doing. Lesnar knows what he wants to do. He doesn't want WWE right now. He's always wanted to go back to the UFC. And then WWE, they see this, and they see this as an opening to be like, well, we could book this in a storyline. We could use this for a storyline. You got to give WWE credit for being creative on the fly there with Lesnar just 24 hours ago taking a picture with Dana White and then incorporating that into a storyline with Roman Reigns. But underneath all that, whatever Roman Reigns stated about Brock Lesnar is nothing new to me. It's not going to get me on Roman's side. It's not going to make me Team Roman going into WrestleMania. Lesnar didn't walk out of WWE. I don't think Lesnar is holding WWE up for money. If I'm to make a educational guess here, or educated guess, I'm going to say that Brock Lesnar is pretty much set in his ways that he wants to go back to the UFC. So if he doesn't sign a new contract, if he doesn't sign a new contract, it's because he doesn't want to be there anymore. You got to look at it through Brock Lesnar's eyes. What does Brock Lesnar have left to do in WWE? There really isn't anything. There isn't much of anything. Even if you put him on SmackDown Live, there really isn't much for him to do outside of a rematch with AJ Styles. That was the best thing in this entire title run, and that was a non-title match. That was the best match that Brock Lesnar put on in his current WWE run, this second time back. Lesnar has nothing else to prove in WWE, and he probably knows that too. Lesnar's the type of guy, I don't know Lesnar, obviously, but Lesnar seems like the type of guy that wants to continuously challenge himself. Yeah, the money is easy in WWE. Yeah, the schedule is easy. You show up 25 times out of the year. A few Monday Night Raw dates scattered around. 4 times a year you fight, right? None of his matches last over 10 minutes outside the AJ Styles match, which was fantastic. It went about 16, 17 minutes. Lesnar seems like the type of guy that wants to challenge himself, and there's no better way to challenge yourself than getting back in the UFC. And especially after his last UFC fight, right before he got suspended, against Mark Hunt, Lesnar looked pretty good. Lesnar probably felt good. Lesnar knew that he looked good in that match, and Lesnar wanted to probably continue doing UFC. Will Vince McMahon continue to let Brock Lesnar do UFC while under a WWE contract? Probably not. Because the risk of injury for someone like that you're throwing millions of dollars at, the potential risk of injury, has to weigh heavy on Vince McMahon's mind. Why would you want your star guy, literally your biggest name, to go to the UFC, potentially get injured? You never know what could happen in that octagon. How many times would Vince McMahon allow Brock Lesnar to do something like that, under a WWE contract and under his watch? No matter how good of a relationship Dana White and Vince McMahon have. So this is why I stated yesterday, I don't think Brock Lesnar walked out of WWE. This is all for storyline. They changed it on the fly. Lesnar was probably there, ready to go for Monday Night Raw. Or they probably told him the night before, listen, Brock, we don't need you. We're going to switch it up. You got this picture with Dana White floating around. We're going to use that per storyline. We're going to just turn this into a work shoot. That's exactly what they did. They said, Brock, don't worry about it. We'll pay you for the day. Go home. Come back in 2 weeks when we need you. Brock Lesnar didn't walk out of WWE holding them up for more money. He wasn't holding Vince McMahon hostage for more money. I don't buy these rumors. I don't buy any of this shit that you're reading on the internet. Now, I do have a follow-up news article on what really happened on Monday Night Raw with Brock Lesnar. More updates continue to filter in here. As we've seen at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, Roman Reigns beat Braun Strowman, Elias, John Cena, The Miz, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor. You guys know the deal inside the Elimination Chamber. As we all know, and as we all expected, Roman Reigns will challenge Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34 in New Orleans. This leads us to Monday Night Raw this week in Anaheim, California, which took place at the Honda Center. WWE hyped a confrontation between Reigns and Lesnar on Raw to help start their program for WrestleMania 34. However, there was one problem, which was the fact that Lesnar didn't appear on the show, and Reigns had to cut a promo in the ring about how Lesnar does not want to be in the WWE and how he doesn't care about anything WWE related. Dave Meltzer noted on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio that Braun Strowman, as of Monday, was pulled from the Intercontinental Championship match that was planned with The Miz due to internal concern over Lesnar versus Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania 34. If this storyline has any positive that comes out of it, that is Braun Strowman being pulled from the Intercontinental Championship match that was planned with The Miz at WrestleMania. A, that is not a WrestleMania-worthy match. B, I believe that is so far down on the ladder for Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. I would not want to see that. That does not read or speak to me WrestleMania, The Miz versus Braun Strowman. And also, we've seen that already. We've seen it already on Monday Night Raw. We've seen Braun Strowman power slam Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel into oblivion. We've seen him chase The Miz. And from what I see with this mixed match challenge, it's probably going to end up coming down to The Miz and Braun Strowman anyway. It's probably going to come down to that. Being that they pulled it from WrestleMania, that was their original plan. WWE said, well, if we're not going to do it at WrestleMania, and we're going to put Braun Strowman in something more important, or have him on the sidelines as a plan B, just in case Lesnar and Reigns falls through the cracks, WWE can always visit that in the finals of the Mixed Match Classic. So, they got Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss versus Asuka and The Miz. Seems like a nice final to me, if you ask me, you know? So, we'll see what happens with that. I got news on that as well. It was noted that on the Sports Entertainment Company's website, or you know, on these dirt sheets, not their website, that the WWE has a backup plan in case damaging evidence against Reigns comes out in the investigation that is ongoing right now by filmmaker Johnny Bravo. As of this report, there is no word on what Braun Strowman will be doing at WrestleMania this year. He could end up in a match with Elias. That was also rumored this week. Or a returning Samoa Joe. I've been pitching for that for many, many weeks now, as I think that would be a good one-on-one match to kind of gauge who's next in line for Roman Reigns when he does eventually win the Universal Championship. Kind of like a number one contenders match of sorts. Now, it should be noted that Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated reports that the Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania right now, and I have news on this to follow up, will feature The Miz, Elias, Braun Strowman, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor in a fatal 5-way match. I don't like that whatsoever. I think Braun Strowman and Elias in that mix doesn't make sense to me. Right now you're building Rollins. Right now you're building Balor and The Miz. I want those three in a triple threat match on their own. I don't want WWE to have WrestleMania come around and we get all these multi-man matches just for the sake of getting everybody on the card. WrestleMania already, just by the feeling I get and the shit that I'm reading on the internet, it's going to be multi-matched heavy. And I don't want to see that. Or multi-man matched heavy. I don't want to see that. That doesn't mean get everybody on the card because it's WrestleMania. If you are in a storyline, then book according to the storyline. If you're in a storyline, then don't start adding people that don't really make sense to the storyline that you have going on. What the fuck does Elias have to do with The Miz, Finn Balor, and Seth Rollins right now for the Intercontinental Championship? What does Braun Strowman have to do with any of those guys either? You're just adding those two names to a match for the sake of getting them on the show so they have something to do. Meanwhile, it makes no sense whatsoever. And if you're going to do a fatal 5-way, that better be the ladder match for WrestleMania. Seriously. If you want a multi-man match, the only multi-man match I want to see is some sort of ladder match. If you're going to add another 5-way match, make it a 6-way, add Samoa Joe when he comes back, and make it a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't get the reason why WWE has to get everybody on this show. Because it's WrestleMania. According to the report that was posted on F4W Online, a plan is in place to get Reigns cheered. I was going to say Rollins. Rollins is going to get cheered anyway. Reigns cheered at WrestleMania 34. It was noted that someone came up with the idea when WWE still had enough time to tell Lesnar and Heyman not to come to Anaheim for this past week's episode of Monday Night Raw. Even though Heyman was there, Lesnar was not. So they probably told him the night before, listen, we're going to rewrite this. Stay home. We'll call you when we need you. WWE is trying to make the build to Reigns versus Lesnar as much like a shoot as possible. While Reigns cut a shoot-style promo on WWE Raw, the promo was indeed scripted. Roman Reigns didn't go out there on his own. Roman Reigns didn't go off the script, no pun intended. He didn't go into business for himself, even though WWE wants you to believe he did. You people have to be smarter than that. Why wouldn't they cut Roman's microphone if they're bad-mouthing Brock Lesnar like that? Come on. People thinking that Reigns is all rough and tough now because he cut this work-shoot-like promo on Monday Night Raw. Give me a fucking break, people. Use your brains. This leads us to the latest update, and it's quite interesting. PW Stream tweeted out that Lesnar and the WWE obviously, were separated on Monday night. This is what may have led him to no showing on Monday night. I quote from PW Stream, Lesnar was set to sign a contract extension on Monday, adding more dates including an appearance on Raw, hence why he was scheduled for the show. Using his potential UFC deal as a bargaining chip, he refused to sign. Reigns' worked shoot promo was the result of this. WWE, they knew what they were doing before they even got to Monday Night Raw. I don't believe this for a second. I don't think Lesnar is even interested in signing. And I'm just giving you what I see through my eyes. I don't think Lesnar is interested in signing another WWE deal. I don't. Just for the simple fact that, A, he's got nothing else left to prove. He's got nothing else to do. They've pretty much run through everybody with Brock Lesnar. He might not. We don't know how he feels about working with Roman Reigns. Again, Lesnar usually has a say in what he wants to do and who he wants to work with in some creative direction along with Paul Heyman. They may not be on board with this Roman Reigns coronation again. We don't know. That alone would drive Lesnar out of WWE if I was Brock Lesnar. I gotta put over this fucking guy after I beat AJ Styles and Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe and this and that. Dominating title run, right? According to them. Who knows how Lesnar feels about putting Roman Reigns over? We don't know. But the one positive to come out of this is definitely Braun Strowman not being put in the Intercontinental Championship match with The Miz, which was originally being planned as of a few weeks ago. I still don't like the idea of Elias and Braun Strowman in a multi-man fatal five-way match with Rollins, Balor, and Miz. I just don't see the interest in that whatsoever. And if that's the case, you're really taking thunder away from Rollins and Balor again if you put Braun Strowman in that match. Because if Braun Strowman is in that match, Braun Strowman is winning the Intercontinental Championship. Why don't you leave Rollins and Balor to battle over the Intercontinental Championship and get some momentum with that title belt going into the summer this year? Anywhere you put Braun Strowman has to be put over. It doesn't make sense. Braun Strowman seems like the odd man out everywhere he goes. He's not getting what he deserves right now. I really don't understand WWE's logic here. It seems like Braun Strowman's best bet right now is to wait to see what Johnny Bravo comes up with, or put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and then you'll have a fresh head coming out of WrestleMania where you want to go with Braun Strowman. I don't know, man. But this Brock Lesnar situation, everybody's making a big deal about this Brock Lesnar situation. He didn't walk out of WWE. He's not holding up WWE for more money. I honestly believe Lesnar is done with the WWE right now. Though it's an easy schedule and easy money, right? Lesnar wants to go back to the UFC. Lesnar's priority right now is UFC. He might not want to do both at the same time. Concentrate on one or the other. Lesnar didn't walk out of WWE to hold him up for more money, because Lesnar knows when he's done with the UFC, Vince McMahon will probably welcome him back with open arms, and you don't want to burn a bridge, because he knows how much money he could eventually get anyway out of Vince McMahon if he wants to come back. Why would he want to throw easy money away like that for no reason? So that's my opinion on this whole Brock Lesnar situation. That is, according to PW Stream and Dave Meltzer, what really happened to Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. Those are the plans right now. Braun Strowman kind of in limbo. They got ideas for a fatal five-way match for the Intercontinental Championship if Braun Strowman isn't placed in the Battle Royal or in the WWE Universal Championship match. So WWE has a few different avenues to work with. They're just waiting and waiting and waiting on what Johnny Bravo has to say about this steroid scandal right now with Richard Rodriguez. But that's the news on what really happened to Brock Lesnar on Monday Night Raw. Let me know what you guys think about this Brock Lesnar story. He's not going to be there on Monday. Reigns will be. So we see, Reigns again probably going to take the microphone and continue to egg on Brock Lesnar, and WWE continuously shoving this political bullshit down our throats with Roman Reigns and having him be the superhero when none of us are going to believe anything he has to say, because we already know what Brock Lesnar is to the WWE. We know why he's there. Because Roman Reigns is coming out and defending the locker room. Now we have to be on board with Roman Reigns and be against Brock Lesnar? Come on. Come on, man. WWE can do better than that. I appreciate their efforts to make it more of a work-shoot style match because that's the character that Brock Lesnar is. But having Roman Reigns on the opposite end, talking trash about Brock Lesnar in this manner, is totally not believable. Totally not believable whatsoever, man. So that is the opening story here on Off the Script. We're going to hit the intro. I'll see you guys on the flip side. I got more news. I got more WrestleMania news on the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, reported plans for the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge. I got Rey Mysterio plans, Neville coming back to the WWE potentially, and I have more news on WrestleMania and WWE sucking the fun out of the New Orleans crowd this year for WrestleMania 34. All this, plus so much more, right here on episode 211, part number 2 of Off the Script. So yesterday, I actually put out to you guys that I'm looking for some very talented video editors or clip compilers or someone who can make an intro for the podcast on YouTube here with the music to accompany that, with the new theme music, right? I've had a lot of submissions so far, and I'm very gracious that people want to be a part of Off the Script. It means a lot to me, and I've seen a few good ones already, man. I was very tempted to use a few of them already. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make... I see you, Bacardi. I see you. What are you doing over there? What are you doing over there? You want to say hello? You know I'm recording, right? All right, I'll talk to you later. Anyway... some of them were so good that I wanted to use some of them in the podcast today. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a whole separate series or video on it. So I'm going to compile all of them into one video, and I'm going to let you guys vote on which one is the best and which one is going to be used on the podcast. So I'm going to compile a bunch of them. If you guys want to enter... all I'm asking, it's very simple, man. If you guys are familiar with my friend Brian Zane over at Wrestling with Regret, great content creator here on YouTube in the YWC. I had the pleasure of working with him at the Internet Darlings at WrestleMania last year. Had fun. Wish he was doing it again this year. It would give me a reason to go to New Orleans. But I love his intro. I love his theme. I love his intro with the clips of different funny things he's doing on the show. I want something like that. Take some of my best highlights or your most favorite highlights. It could be... Eva Marie sucks cock. It could be anything with the beaver. Nakamura. Something like that. Whatever, man. You guys can compile them in a video that's like a minute long to accompany the theme song. We'll vote on it, and I'll leave it up to you guys as to which one's going to be in the show. So let me know what you guys think about that. If you want to enter, all you got to do is come up with something. Email me, jdfromny206@yahoo.com. So thank you to everybody that has submitted an entry so far. I'm going to let it go a few weeks. We'll compile the best ones, and then I'll let you guys know what's going on with that. I'll keep you guys updated. So moving on from that, man, I want to thank also That Wrestling Club. They gave me a nice little shout out on Twitter last night. You guys over there at That Wrestling Club are absolutely fucking beast. I'm so proud to be part of your family. So thank you guys for having me on board, and thank you for not only being a great sponsor of the show, but a friend of Off the Script, man. So thank you guys for that. ThatWrestlingClub.com. We did an unboxing yesterday where we got a very, very rare Funko Pop of Braun Strowman, the newest in the line of Funko Pops for WWE, and it was signed by Braun himself, man. So that itself is worth more than the box alone. So that's going to be worth some money, man. It's staring right at me on my dresser there. Great shit. ThatWrestlingClub.com. Use code JDFROMNY at checkout. When you finish picking your subscription, save 20% off. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys do that. Off the Script was demonetized yesterday for most of the day. When I woke up this morning, it was monetized, so I lost a nice chunk of change on that video yesterday. So you guys, if you missed it, you guys can go check it out. It is linked in the top of the video in the YouTube card annotation. Make sure you check out yesterday's Off the Script. Hellacious rant on Jonathan Coachman. Great rant on Roman Reigns and why we don't like Roman Reigns. Class is in session every time we talk about Roman Reigns here, man. Opening up an eye or two every single week as it pertains to Roman Reigns. But we also talk about the internal concern of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, which we kind of dove into at the start of this show. Just more news coming out slowly but surely about Brock Lesnar. Everybody thinks he walked out of the WWE. This is all storyline, people. Don't believe everything you read, especially during WrestleMania season. WWE is looking for ways to troll you. That's what they did with Rey Mysterio and John Cena. That's what they're doing with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and him walking out. They're looking to troll you, to keep you on your feet, because they know WrestleMania is overly predictable and they're trying to make it as unpredictable as possible. So please, smarten up. Harrys.com/script. You guys know the deal with that. I gotta shave. I'm looking like a bum right now. Harrys.com/script. Use that to get your free trial shave set. Razor blade, razor handle, razor blade protective case, and their great shave gel, man. All you guys gotta do is pay shipping and handling. Harrys.com/script. Audibletrial.com/offthescript if you guys want a free audio book and 1 month free of Audible service. Thank you guys for showing love to Audible each and every single week. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. Tell your friends, tell your parents, tell your girlfriend's parents, tell friends at school, colleagues at work. If you guys already signed up, give the gift of Audible, man. Audibletrial.com/offthescript and barbershopwindow.com/offthescript for your great looking Off the Script merchandise and t-shirts. And if you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. I'm trying to get this podcast up as early as possible. There may be a chance I'm heading to the Hammerstein Ballroom tonight just to get out of the house, man. You guys know I've been not myself lately, and I'm slowly but surely just snapping out of it. You know, I've had a terrible 2018 so far, and it's just great for me to get out of the house. I don't like being stuck in, especially with the weather last night and the miserable weather up and down the East Coast with that little nor'easter that we had. We didn't get no snow here in New York City, but we got a lot of wind, a lot of rain, a lot of downed trees. Thankfully, everything over here was okay. But I'm looking to head to the Hammerstein Ballroom tonight for Ring of Honor's Manhattan Mayhem, man. So I'm looking to meet some of you guys out there. If you're heading towards Hammerstein Ballroom tonight, you'll probably see me wandering around there with my black hoodie on and my AJ Styles cap and some Smart Mark wrestling t-shirts. So if you guys are heading out there, let me know. You know, we'll hang out, we'll shoot the shit, you know, grab a beer maybe after the show, and it is what it is, man. So if you guys are going to Manhattan Mayhem tonight for Ring of Honor, you might see me at the Hammerstein Ballroom later on this evening. Speaking of wrestling, let's talk about WWE, man. Let's get into the news here. I want to start off with, there's a lot of stories I can cover right now, but I'm going to start at the top here. Let's continue with the WrestleMania theme. WWE is looking to ban several items for WrestleMania weekend. It looks like we've seen the last of Beach Ball Mania. Or at least that's the case if WWE has anything to say about it. WrestleMania weekend and other big shows have notoriously featured beach balls in the crowd, especially during the televised shows following a Big Four pay-per-view. Both the Wrestling Observer and PW Insider noted that people who brought travel packages to attend WrestleMania, or bought travel packages rather, to attend WrestleMania weekend, were informed via email that WWE is adding to their list of banned items beach balls, balloons, tablets, and iPads are now banned. I don't know why iPads and tablets are banned. I mean, that's ridiculous. from WWE events alongside traditional weapons, laptops, laser pointers, and video cameras. So basically no fun at these events. You know? People want to bring a fucking iPad or a tablet. I don't see what the issue is there. Balloons. I don't know why anybody would bring balloons to the arena. Beach balls. They're doing that because the fans find, or the wrestlers rather, find it disrespectful of the fans to be throwing around a beach ball, not paying attention to what's going on in the ring. It's a huge distraction to the WWE. So I understand that, but I mean, it's like daddy taking away the toy from his child that he doesn't want to play with because it's too dangerous. You know, no, son, don't play with that. That's no good for you, right? But the more you tell someone not to do something, the more that they're going to do it. Somebody, well, I don't know if they're going to, I wouldn't risk it because then you would have wasted money on tickets to WrestleMania by bringing in or trying to attempt to bring in a beach ball. And then if you get caught, you know, goodbye, you're gone, you know. But the more you tell someone not to do something, the more they're going to do it. So I'm assuming we'll see a beach ball or two still in WrestleMania in New Orleans, and especially on Monday Night Raw. So if the beach balls in the crowd this year during Raw After Mania, those fans were informed well in advance that they shouldn't be bringing pool toys or anything else of that matter to pro wrestling events. Then again, this kind of ban might just encourage rebellious fans even more to bring forbidden items to the event. In all honesty, while it's fun for the live crowd to bounce a ball around, it really takes away from the television product. After all, a lot of people might find it very confusing at first when they watch Raw and they see these objects floating around the crowd, and it distracts the audience cheering for something off camera. Meanwhile, they're not paying anything or attention to anything in the ring. This actually caused WWE to break a cardinal rule in the past and show the beach balls so fans at home know what's going on. So maybe it's just for the best that fans, just leave the beach balls at home or until they get back to the hotel room or the hotel pool. So everybody in New Orleans, if you want to ruin your WrestleMania weekend by being kicked out of the Mercedes Superdome, then don't bring beach balls to the arena. So there you go. WWE banning several items for the week. I understand how it takes away. And if I was a pro wrestler, and if I was any of those guys in the ring, I'd be pissed too. Like, really, dude, you pay money to throw around a fucking beach ball in the crowd. Meanwhile, I'm breaking my body for your entertainment. I understand it, but, it's a double-edged sword. It's like the wrestlers understand that the fans want to have fun, but it also takes away from the product and what they're doing in the ring and what they're trying to do to entertain you. So it's like a double-edged sword. Nobody's going to look good here. WWE's going to look like the overly angry parent taking away the child's toy, and then the fans are going to be the rebellious child trying to sneak it in and continue doing the bad behavior. So it really isn't going to work out for anybody. I could definitely see a beach ball or two still on Monday Night Raw following WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania, WWE might be doing away with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. For what? We might have the fabulous Moolah Battle Royal for the women, which I'll talk about in a second, and I think it's a terrible idea. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is a time when a lot of guys can get on WrestleMania to get that WrestleMania payday, only if they're on the kickoff show. Then, unfortunately, they're not getting on the DVD release. Yeah, but Road Dogg, according to Road Dogg, it's the same as being on the main show. Sure thing, Road Dogg. Continue to spread stupidity to the masses via social media. However, this over-the-top rope match has seen a lot of popularity as well as setbacks in the short time that it's been a thing on WrestleMania. Now, it's been reported this week that WWE could be considering a cut, meaning that the men's Battle Royal match will not be happening in New Orleans this year. But as it turns out now, WWE could have even more plans for WrestleMania, as their theme seems to be and include as many superstars as possible at WrestleMania this time around. I don't give a shit about a Battle Royal getting everybody on the card. I don't. You want to do that? Save it for the pre-show. I don't watch the pre-show anyway. Unless there's really a match that really needs to be seen. I'm not going to go watch the pre-show. I don't care. These winners of these Battle Royals get nothing, just as previous years have shown you. So why am I going to go out of my way and waste my time watching a Battle Royal that means nothing in the grand scheme of things? So, WWE is thinking about getting rid of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or having the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as well as another Battle Royal for the women. And I would not be surprised that they do that, because we've been on this kick for first time evers. So WWE could have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as well as the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, because it would be the first time ever that a Battle Royal on WrestleMania would include all of the women in the women's division. You might include some NXT talent in there, just like Hideo Itami debuted at WrestleMania 31 in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So you guys can do that, and I would not be surprised that WWE does indeed do that. Now, Brian Alvarez stated a couple days ago, and I quote, "A couple of days ago, I was talking about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I said that there may not be one, and there was going to be a women's battle royal, probably a Fabulous Moolah battle royal." Now again, let me say this. I saw a lot of people on the internet saying that I stated there would not be a men's battle royal. I did not say that. Until the WrestleMania card is finalized, who even knows? But they have now been discussing a men's and women's battle royal at WrestleMania, so I guess one would be on the pre-show and one would be on the main show. The show's going to be 6 hours long anyway. We've got a lot of multi-person matches. The gimmick is to get as many people on the WrestleMania card as possible. I don't like that gimmick. And I stated this in the beginning. Too many multi-man matches at WrestleMania is laziness to me. Just look at this. I want you guys to think about this. If the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal happens alongside a Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, that's one women's match right there. And where are you going to put that match? Is it going to be on the pre-show, or is WWE going to want to feature the women on the main show? Right? So that's one match. I'm talking about the grand scheme of WrestleMania. I'm talking about pre-show, and I'm talking about the main card in general, right? Last year, how many matches were there? Like 15 matches last year in total? So we got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. Let's look at the other women's matches that are going to be planned this year. Alexa versus Nia is rumored for the Raw Women's Championship. We got Asuka versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship. That's 3 women's matches already, right? Ronda Rousey is going to be in a big match alongside Kurt Angle. She's going to have that female presence on the show. Sasha Banks and Bayley, they're building towards something. They're building towards something. We don't know if it's going to happen at WrestleMania. This is why I pitched the idea of Bayley winning the Elimination Chamber, cutting that same promo, but maintaining her babyface character with Renee Young after she won the Elimination Chamber, right? She has that promo cut. Sasha Banks attacks her. We have that feud started for WrestleMania for the Women's Championship on Monday Night Raw. At least the Women's Championship would be in a storyline that has history to it, instead of giving me a bullshit Women's Championship match with Alexa Bliss, who right now is highly overrated and being booked poorly. To me, Alexa Bliss doesn't speak WrestleMania. Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss is certainly not a WrestleMania-worthy match, in my eyes anyway. And if that match was supposed to be taking place at WrestleMania, it better be on the pre-show. It better be on the pre-show. I don't need that match taking up time from something far more important. What are you going to put on the main card? A women's title match that has absolutely inconsistent fucking logic gaps all over the place? One week, Nia is friends with Alexa Bliss. The other week, she's not. Nia is losing left and right. Now WWE wants to build her up as a monster of the division. How am I supposed to invest myself in Nia Jax when all you've done was be inconsistent with her character? Up, down, left, right, northwest, southeast. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. How am I as a fan supposed to get into Nia Jax at that rate? Yet I want to see Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss on WrestleMania's main card? Yeah, just like we cared about that fucking six-pack challenge that they did at WrestleMania last year, right? How long did that match last? 4 minutes? Give me a break, dude. Just for the simple fact of getting everybody on the card, I hate that mentality. I really do. Book the pre-show like a 2-hour pay-per-view instead of giving me fucking highlights and video packages that we've seen for the last 6 weeks leading up to the event. Treat the fucking pre-show like its own pay-per-view. If it's going to be 2 hours long, treat it with care. Make it part of the fucking show. It's WrestleMania. I don't want to see a match that should be on the main card on the pre-show. I hate that gimmick where everybody has to get on the card. I fucking hate it. Look at what WWE potentially could do. You got Reigns and Lesnar. Everybody hates that already, right? Nakamura versus AJ Styles. The only match anybody's looking forward to. We're already hearing rumors of a fatal five-way match for the Intercontinental Championship. What's going to happen with the U.S. Championship? More multi-man mania, right? Orton, Jinder. You're going to have Ziggler probably in there. You're going to have Bobby Roode, right? What, we're going to have a fatal four-way for the United States Championship? So a fatal five-way for the Intercontinental Championship. A multi-man match for the United States Championship. Probably going to have a multi-man match for the Raw Tag Team Championships because WWE has to get everybody on the show. You're not going to leave the Hardys off of WrestleMania. You're not going to leave the Bar off of WrestleMania. You don't want to leave Gallows and Anderson, being that they're aligned with Finn Balor, off of WrestleMania. You don't want to leave the Revival off WrestleMania. Probably a triple threat match for the Raw Tag Team Championships, right? What about the SmackDown Tag Team Championships? The Usos. Probably defending against the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers and Gable and Benjamin in a fatal four-way. Are you fucking kidding me? Not everybody needs to be on the show. That's why you have this battle royal in place. Give me the Usos versus the Bludgeon Brothers. Give me Randy Orton versus Bobby Roode one-on-one. Or no, better yet, make that the ladder match. Put the mid-card of SmackDown in the United States Championship ladder match. Give me a triple threat match with Miz, Balor, and Rollins, and leave those two matches the only multi-man matches on the show. Everything else is singles matches or tag team matches. Please. It looks pathetic when so many multi-man matches at WrestleMania happen. It happened last year, and it fucking sucks the life out of the show, man. I can't invest myself in any fucking matches that include 4, 5, 6 different teams, 3, 4, 5 different individuals. Nobody wants to see that shit. There's a reason why you're having this battle royal. And who wants 4 or 5 women's matches on a 15-match card for WrestleMania? Are you out of your fucking mind? And you honestly think Sasha Banks and Bayley belong in a women's battle royal on the pre-show? Come on, man. Over Alexa Bliss and Nia, both of those women belong on the pre-show. The work Sasha Banks has done, she belongs on the main card. She should be in a championship title match. WWE, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I told you this weeks ago, and I stated this again not too long ago. WWE has the opportunity to make WrestleMania 34 fantastic. I honestly think they're going to give us the worst version of WrestleMania that they possibly could on April 8th. Watch. Guarantee you all those multi-man matches happen one way or another at WrestleMania. So the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, I really don't care. I honestly don't care. What is the winner of these two matches going to get in the end? Nothing. Just like Baron Corbin won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, right? What happened to him? Just like how Cesaro won it and the Big Show won it. What happened to those guys? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Cesaro's success has nothing to do with the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Baron Corbin floating around in mid-card purgatory. Nothing. Potential WWE Championship holder this year. Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He lost that. Losing to John Cena in 10 minutes, squashed at SummerSlam. Losing the briefcase in 10 seconds to an already defeating Jinder Mahal on SmackDown Live. Yeah, Baron Corbin's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal win just catapulted him into superstardom, right? I don't give a shit. I don't. Is it returning this year or not? Who cares? But all I know is the multi-man matches spread across WrestleMania. You got to calm down with that shit. We see one every fucking week, every pay-per-view. WrestleMania doesn't need to turn into multi-man mania, okay? Give me feuds and matches that I could fucking sink my teeth into and watch one guy against one guy and a storyline be concluded at WrestleMania. I don't want to see all these fucking teams and all these individuals thrown into a match just for the sake of getting everybody a WrestleMania payday. Not everybody deserves a WrestleMania payday. Does Dana Brooke deserve a WrestleMania payday? Does Liv Morgan and Sarah KFC Logan deserve to be on WrestleMania's card? Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville? Come on, man. Focus on what you've been focusing on. The important is what happens at WrestleMania. God, I hope WWE does right this year. Speaking of Monday Night Raw, Fox is willing to... What the fuck are you doing over there? Hey! You're making some fucking noise over there. Fox is willing to drop UFC for WWE programming. Uh-oh. What does this mean? 2-hour Raws? Oh my goodness, man. The Fox WWE story is very real, and if a deal is made, then WWE could get their biggest TV revenue deal to date, and I'm sure that's music to Vince McMahon's ears. Michael McCarthy from The Sporting News is reporting that Fox could end its relationship with UFC if they are able to land a deal to get WWE. Fox is definitely trying to get the WWE. They'll pass on UFC, then use Raw for Fox Broadcasting, Channel 5 here in New York City, and FS1 for SmackDown Live. A source told McCarthy. The story notes that both WWE and UFC are looking to get $400 million per year in TV rights, but Fox is likely to pay that kind of money for WWE over UFC. If Raw moves to Fox, then the show would likely be cut down to 2 hours and air from 8 to 10 because most local Fox networks air local news at 10 p.m. As it was noted on Wednesday, there are several Fox Sports executives sitting ringside for Tuesday's SmackDown Live this past Tuesday. During the last few minutes of the 228 Speak For Yourself show on Fox Sports 1, Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock talked about attending SmackDown Live on Tuesday, and they put over WWE as a professionally run organization. Cowherd said that he met with Stephanie McMahon, and they had a blast and laughed for 2 hours. Whitlock said that he was a fan of wrestling as a kid, and that he was looking forward to perhaps getting more involved watching pro wrestling in the future. Cowherd then suggested that wrestling is a very good sport coming to a network near you. The hosts then laughed as the show went off the air. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I actually heard starting in the fall of 2018 while WWE is still on USA Network. I believe they're contracted to USA Network until 2019. I read early this morning that USA Network and NBC Universal are looking to cut back commercial breaks on the USA Network and all across their programming on NBC and USA and anything else they're affiliated with by 20%. So by the fall of 2018, we might be looking at 20% less commercials on SmackDown and Monday Night Raw. So that's a good thing. That's a good start. But I, as a fan, for the last 6 years watching this fucking show just continue to sink and sink and sink every year, having creative writing just be awful as it is with the 3-hour programming. All I want, I don't give a shit if it's on Fox, I don't give a shit where it is. Having Monday Night Raw go back to 8 to 10, having Monday Night Raw go back to 2 hours is music to my fucking ears, man. You don't know how badly I want Monday Night Raw back at 2 hours. I hate that it's on till 11. I hate that it's from 8 to 11. I used to like when Monday Night Raw was on from 9 to 11. 2 hours. Great. With the 5-minute overrun at 11:05. We all love that. If WWE goes back to Fox, and I haven't seen WWE programming on Fox since I was watching WWE Superstars here in New York City on Channel 5 on Saturday and Sunday morning, right? But the 2-hour Monday Night Raw deal, man, that is going to be music to everybody's ears, just not mine. Not only does it open up, us to be excited about the product more on a weekly basis and not dreading sitting through another 3-hour show. It gives WWE 2 hours to write quality television instead of coming up with just filler upon filler upon filler for that third hour that always brings the quality of the show down. Not just the quality, but the ratings. Monday Night Raw does really decent ratings in the first and second hours, and then we see 20% drops in the third hour. Nobody wants to stay up and watch Monday Night Raw, man, for 3 hours. It's not that big. It's just their main show to get you through the week. Monday into Tuesday. 2 hours of Raw, 2 hours of SmackDown, 1 hour of NXT. That is the bread and butter. That is it. 5 hours. I could deal with that. Man. I can't wait to see what happens with this. And I'm very interested to see what happens. The quality of the shows, I'm telling you right now, will be enhanced if Raw goes from 8 to 10. You'll see a difference. You're going to see less filler. It's going to force WWE's hand to write quality. Write quality. I don't know what it's going to do for everybody else that's been featured on the show. You might be seeing less of Titus Catering. You might be seeing less of Heath Slater, right? But you're going to get a show that you deserve on Monday night with the top guys that you want to see, that the top guys that deserve to be pushed. It's going to give WWE 2 hours to write quality, because in that 2 hours, they're not going to give you bullshit. Can't wait to see what happens, man. I'm excited about that, and it can't come soon enough. Speaking of Raw, Apollo Crews is on Monday Night Raw. WWE email reveals the reason for Apollo Crews' name change not at WrestleMania, just a name change on Monday Night Raw. Despite denials from WWE sources, it was confirmed by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the reason why WWE dropped Apollo Crews' name is indeed because of the Parkland school mass murderer Nicholas Cruz. This was confirmed by internal emails that were sent out, and the decision was eventually made by Vince McMahon. The story was originally reported by Daniel Wood of Sportskeeda, so Sportskeeda got it right. WWE claimed that they never sent out an email to the media about the name change. The news about their reasoning for the name change was something that they did not want out publicly. Going forward, he will simply be known as Apollo. As if anybody cares, there you go. That's the reason. The real reason is because of the Parkland school mass murderer Nicholas Cruz. One hasn't anything to do with the other. Cruz is spelled Crews. This clown who killed all those kids is spelled Cruz. Whatever. Apollo, we'll get over it, just like we got over Cesaro and Rusev and anybody else, Elias, that had name changes, so it ain't going to be a big deal. Apollo isn't in the limelight. Doesn't really matter. We'll get over it. It's not the end of the world. Neville returning to the WWE. Could he be on his way back to 205 Live? Neville's saga with the WWE continues. It's been well documented that the former Cruiserweight champion was initially scheduled to lose to Enzo Amore in the main event of a lumberjack match in Raw in mid-October. However, plans changed to Kalisto wrestling Amore when Neville never showed up to TV that week. WWE officially denied that he quit the promotion. At the time, it was reported that Neville was frustrated with the direction of his character, the lack of payoffs, and the rough WWE life on the road. The former WWE Cruiserweight champion has reportedly been miserable in WWE since January of last year. One cannot blame him. It's been reported that Neville had pushed for WWE to release him with the idea of working the indies and making a name for himself out there. Neville began his career in Northeast England back in 2004 with a small promotion, the Independent Wrestling Federation, the IWF, after establishing himself in the United Kingdom with promotions such as Real Quality Wrestling and One Pro Wrestling, New Wrestling Evolution, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Ring of Honor, Chikara, and Dragon Gate. While in Dragon Gate, he won the Open the Brave, Triangle, and Twin Gate championships in the latter promotion. He is a former PWG World Tag Team Champion and winner of PWG's inaugural Dynamite Tag Team title tournament with Roderick Strong. He signed with WWE in 2012 and was placed in WWE's developmental territory, NXT. While in NXT, he was one of three men, the other two men being the Revival Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, to win the NXT Tag Team Championships twice, with his first reign being one half of the inaugural champions with Oliver Gray and the other reign with Corey Graves. Blast from the past. He's also a one-time NXT champion, making him the first and only man to have held the NXT championships and the NXT Tag Team championships. Fast forward to 2015, he was called up to the main roster, was later drafted to Raw in 2016. He's a two-time Cruiserweight champion. A few months ago, the belief within WWE is that the sports entertainment company will not grant Neville his release and will make him sit out the remainder of his contract. Nobody knows how long it is, but once his deal has expired, he will then have 90 days of no compete. However, things have apparently changed as there is a new update on Neville. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Neville and WWE are once again talking about how to resolve their differences. The target date for his potential return could be as early as April. This is what I foresee happening. Just like how Triple H is the one manning the ship on getting Rey Mysterio into the WWE. I think Triple H is going to be the one overseeing these talks with Neville, being that Triple H now is in charge of 205 Live. Triple H obviously has seen Neville grow. Neville was one of his children down in NXT. With Triple H now on 205 Live, he's going to reach out to Neville, have him come back to 205 Live, and have him be the guy that we all expected him to be. You know, and especially with the way things are going on 205 Live, now where the wrestling is at the forefront of everything on that show, can you imagine what Neville can do now if he is given the opportunity with no handcuffs, with no ball and chain to work on 205 Live? Roddy versus Neville. We can see Neville versus Cedric, right? Hideo Itami versus Neville with no strings attached, no fucking ball and chain. That's fucking exciting news right there, man. That really is. Now, in a perfect world, obviously, I would not have Neville come back to 205 Live, and I would have Neville on Monday Night Raw competing with the Finn Balor's and the Seth Rollins for the Intercontinental Championship. That's what I would do. Because I think 205 Live, no matter how great it is and no matter if Triple H is there or not, I think Neville right now is above 205 Live. Same thing with Johnny Gargano and the rumors of Johnny Gargano coming to 205 Live. Johnny Gargano is so much worth more, or so much more to WWE than just 205 Live. And I think that way about Neville. Neville has all the talent in the world to be a WWE champion. Never mind that. I could see Neville on SmackDown Live. Neville versus, Sami Zayn. Neville versus Rey Mysterio if he comes back. Neville versus AJ Styles. Right? Neville versus Bobby Roode. Neville versus Randy Orton. I mean, why would you want to just confine this guy to a bubble on 205 Live? No matter if the wrestling is fantastic or not, he's worth so much more. This is why I've always stated I wish WWE would, get rid of the weight limit, or at least limit the weight limit to just the Cruiserweight Championship. If you're 205 pounds and below, you can challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship. Other than that, you can show up on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown Live and compete with those other guys. The Cruiserweight division isn't really, a Monday Night Raw staple anymore. It's not Monday Night Raw. They haven't featured the Cruiserweights in many, many weeks now. So why don't you get those guys on Raw to make it a better show in the meantime, filling 3 hours? Give me some matches with Neville and Finn Balor, or Neville and Seth Rollins, or Roderick Strong versus Seth Rollins. Something like that. Tag team matches where Cedric Alexander's teaming with Seth Rollins against, The Miz and somebody. I don't know, Miz and Elias. Something like that. Why can't we see shit like that on Monday Night Raw? I wish they would get rid of the weight limit or limit the weight limit to just the championship only. You can only be 205 pounds and under to challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship. So that would mean Finn Balor can come over and challenge for the Cruiserweight Championship. Guys, shit like that. I would absolutely love to see them just enhance this division and really make it something special. I don't want to see Neville on 205 Live and confined to 205 Live only. If it was my perfect world, I'd have him on Raw or SmackDown Live competing with the big boys for the big championships, because that's how talented he is. But if Neville is going to come back, which is very positive news right now, we know that he's going to be under Triple H's watch, and if he does come back, he will be treated the way he should have been treated all along on that show. I want to see 205 Live as its own brand, but things still need to be worked out. You guys know how I feel about that. Neville coming back to the WWE is huge news. That would be a huge boost. And if you're going to bring Rey Mysterio in, can you imagine Rey Mysterio versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship? That's what I think Rey Mysterio is best being utilized for. The Cruiserweights right now. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Speaking of Rey Mysterio WrestleMania plans. In recent days, we talked about Rey Mysterio and his future with the WWE, possibly having a match at WrestleMania 34. John Cena's name has been thrown around. We debunked that. Rey Mysterio, reportedly by Justin Barrasso, was at SmackDown Live on Tuesday, signing a WWE deal, or at least in the midst of talking about a WWE return. He was not at Tuesday's show. In fact, he was in, I believe, San Diego on Monday, visiting friends, possibly talking a WWE return. A photograph with Kalisto surfaced, and that's what made people go out of their minds that Rey Mysterio was backstage at SmackDown Live. WWE is in WrestleMania mode right now, man. Like I said earlier, they're going to do everything they can to troll you and take your mind off of what you think is going to happen, what you know is going to happen, and they're going to deter your attention somewhere else and think something else is going to happen. They're in the midst of trolling you for WrestleMania season. Don't believe everything that you read. Mysterio made his return to the WWE, as you guys know, entering 27 in the Royal Rumble, eliminating Adam Cole. He was a part of the final 6 in the Royal Rumble. Since his Royal Rumble appearance, many WWE fans have been wondering if Rey Mysterio will be returning to WWE. While there are doubts over whether or not he will be facing Cena at WrestleMania, more than likely not, since he is heavily linked with The Undertaker, is John Cena. Possible appearance at WrestleMania 34 for Mysterio has taken another step forward in happening. According to Wrestling Inc., Mysterio was scheduled to appear at the upcoming Crash event during WrestleMania weekend on April 6th. However, updated advertising released this week shows that Mysterio is no longer on the poster or on the card for that event. Mysterio still has other scheduled appearances on other shows between now and WrestleMania, such as his match with Jushin Thunder Liger on March 25th for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But the fact now is that he's a free agent come the weekend of April 6th, opens up the possibility of an appearance at WrestleMania, just like how the Hardys were at Supercard of Honor the night before and showed up at WrestleMania the night after. Mysterio only wants to work with WWE on a part-time basis if he signs with the WWE once more as well, which is also a factor in his booking in the company. Either way, simply having Mysterio at WrestleMania would be awesome. The fact that the rumors are mentioning John Cena, we know that's not going to happen. Like I said, I think Rey Mysterio, for the first couple of months upon his return, I think putting him on 205 Live and enhancing that show with Rey Mysterio, being that now it's such a great show, with the wrestling involved, I think Rey Mysterio being the face of that brand, bringing Neville back, man, more eyes than ever would be on 205 Live. I think that's what you do with him, And if you don't do that with him, I see him on SmackDown Live. Mysterio versus Styles, Mysterio versus Nakamura, Mysterio versus Zayn, Mysterio versus Owens, Mysterio versus Orton, Bobby Roode. Mysterio, there's a lot of dream matches that you could come up with, a lot of great match scenarios with Rey Mysterio, but you got to utilize him where, he's going to be most valuable. Is he going to get lost on the shuffle on the terrible show that is SmackDown Live, or are you going to utilize him to build around him and have him be the face of 205 Live with Neville coming back? At least Neville at that point can play up his heel character, and he would have someone in the form of a babyface like Rey Mysterio to just go to war with. Can you imagine that? Mysterio versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship at SummerSlam. I think that is a great direction. And also, before I forget, the Cruiserweight Championship has this stigma about it. Like, everybody's thinking come WrestleMania that the Cruiserweight Championship is going to be on the pre-show. No, motherfucker. Cruiserweight Championship, if I'm booking my WrestleMania card, is on the main show. And I hope Triple H really pushes that. Whoever's in the finals, whether it's Roddy, whether it's Cedric, or Mustafa Ali, those guys need to be on WrestleMania's card. You want 205 Live to be successful, you put it on the main show, and you showcase it in front of the largest crowd possible, getting those guys the reaction that they deserve in front of that crowd. And if you put the Cruiserweight Championship on continuously, time and time again, on the main show, instead of leaving it to the pre-show, it's going to make people think that, you know what, this is important. I should pay attention to this. 205 Live, if this is what's going on 205 Live, I'm going to make an hour out of my day to watch 205 Live and see what's going on with Triple H in charge. Let's get the ball rolling, man. You got it rolling slowly right now. 205 Live and rebuilding that brand right now around Rey Mysterio, I think that's the best way to utilize Rey Mysterio if he's coming back to the WWE. We're going to get out of here, man. I'm going to end with this one. Because I want to start getting ready if I'm going to head down to the Hammerstein Ballroom for the Manhattan Mayhem show. Reported plans for the finals of the Mixed Match Challenge. We now know what WWE originally had in mind. The 7th episode of the Mixed Match Challenge aired on Facebook Live, or Facebook Watch, whatever the fuck they're calling it, on Tuesday night, and saw Asuka and The Miz defeat Finn Balor and Sasha Banks in a tag team match. Dave Meltzer reported in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss versus The Miz and Asuka was the original plan for the final. It should be noted that with WrestleMania plans changing, that may no longer be the case. There's no doubt about it that this WWE superstar is a monster among men. Braun Strowman has risen up the ranks in WWE and he's becoming a fan favorite. More so than Roman Reigns on the main roster and on Monday Night Raw, splitting away from the Wyatt family just a few short years ago. He has learned that as he goes to be a top superstar on WWE, obviously Vince McMahon has become a huge fan of Braun Strowman. They've booked him meticulously and carefully ever since he became a big part of Monday Night Raw. Just look at who he has pushed in the past. Vince McMahon, Andre the Giant, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, The Undertaker, Big Show. Those are the monsters that Vince McMahon has had direct success with. Braun Strowman seems to be the next one on that list. The Miz was drafted to the ECW brand in 2007, where he formed a partnership with one of my favorites, and I hope to see back in WWE someday soon, John Morrison. Together, they won the WWE Tag Team Championships and the World Tag Team Championship. After being drafted to Raw in 2009, he won the United States Championship twice. Tag team titles with John Cena, Damien Mizdow, and twice with The Big Show as well in 2010. He was the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match winner. Cashed in his briefcase to win the WWE Championship in 2010, which I marked out for because I was a big fan of The Miz back then. To see that moment, it was great. He went on to hold the title for 6 months. He's also the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history by combined days, behind Don Morocco and Pedro Morales. That's just a bullshit stat that WWE wants to just, push on TV. If you recall, the biggest match of The Miz's career, it was when he defeated John Cena for the WWE Championship back in 2011 at the main event of WrestleMania 27, which was awful. This marked the only time that WWE had booked The Miz in the main event of the biggest show of the year for WrestleMania. So it looks like we may be getting Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss versus The Miz and Asuka in the Mixed Match Challenge final. Now, with the news of Braun Strowman, and him being a backup plan right now for the time being for WrestleMania, and with ideas of maybe putting him in the Intercontinental Championship for the Miz's Intercontinental Championship, we don't know where Braun Strowman's going to be. So with Alexa Bliss and Braun Strowman versus The Miz and Asuka, it kind of gives you a play on what WWE had originally had in mind for Braun Strowman and The Miz at WrestleMania. Get it out of the way now. Do it through the Mixed Match Challenge. I hear a lot of people already stating that if Asuka loses, it's going to tarnish her undefeated streak. Not if The Miz gets pinned by Braun Strowman. It's not going to do anything to Asuka. But from the way I see it, I don't mind this as long as we don't get The Miz and Braun Strowman at WrestleMania. That's the one thing that I was concerned with because I just don't find that to be interesting whatsoever at WrestleMania. So if WWE was originally planning to do that on April 8th, they're probably going to get it done through the Mixed Match Challenge, which I have no problem with. I don't see a team like Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss losing anyway. I don't see Braun Strowman losing in anything he does, just the way WWE's built him up. Same thing with Asuka, But as long as Asuka is not pinned in this match, then I'm all for it. It is what it is, man. I really haven't watched anything concerning the Mixed Match Challenge. I just don't have any desire to watch it. There's no storyline continuation. It's just something that they're doing for fun, and I have no interest in seeing who wins this thing. I just don't care. But if you're talking about a finals between those two teams, sounds all right to me. I expected The Miz and Asuka to be in the end anyway. If you're going to put Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss there, why not? Makes for a good finals, man. I'm getting out of here, bro. Thank you guys so much for all the support on part number 1. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow afternoon with part 3 and more news right here on Off the Script. Remember, if you guys want to get your video submissions in for the intro to the podcast with a new theme song, JDFROMNY206 at yahoo.com. Make sure you guys email me. Let me know who you are, please. If you guys want to support the show, patreon.com/JDFROMNY206. harrys.com/offthescript, audibletrial.com/offthescript, barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Subscribe down below, turn on that bell for all notifications, and follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Have a great Saturday. And if you guys are going to be at the Hammerstein Ballroom, I might see you out there, man. Take care. Hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys back here for part 3 of Off the Script.